Hey y'all, it's Kim. So I know it's been a bit, but this is the Senate torture report, and I always have to look at the actual long name of this. So hold on one second. Let me get over here to it. So it is somewhere in here. Hold on. It's like, why is it not there? Okay. So it's called the Report of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, Committee Study of the Central Intelligence Agency's Detention and Interrogation Program. This will be video 25. I don't know, it's been a while since we looked at this, but let me get over here to my little paper. Uh, I like writing this stuff down in a little journal the days when I do it. So, anyway, that way I keep up with it. Okay, so let's get started. So, responding to the request for information, Deputy Chief of Alex Station Redacted sent an email describing intelligence from KSM in which she wrote, let's be forward leaning. The content of Redacted's email would serve as a template on which future justifications for the CIA program and the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques were based. Redacted's email stated that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's information alone has saved at least several hundred, possibly thousands of lives. She then wrote that KSM identified Ayman Faris, who's now serving time in the U.S., for his support to Al Qaeda, and identified a photograph of Salih al Mari, whom the FBI suspected of some involvement with Al Qaeda, but against whom we had no concrete information, adding that Almari is now being held on a material witness warrant. A redacted email stated that KSM provided information on Majid Khan, who's now in custody, identified a mechanism for Al Qaeda to smuggle explosives into the U.S., and identified Jafar al Tayyar. Redacted's email also represented that after the use of enhanced interrogation techniques, Abu Zubaydah grew into what is now our most cooperative detainee, and that Abu Zubaydah's information produced concrete results that helped save lives. These representations were almost entirely inaccurate, as she had in an interview with OIG, redacted former chief of the Abu Zubaydah task force refuted this view, writing in an email that Abu Zubaydah never really gave this is the plot type of information, that Abu Zubaydah discussed Jose Padilla prior to the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques, and that he never really gave us actionable intel to get them. Separately, the deputy chief of Alex Station, which is the Obama desk, forwarded additional inaccurate information from CIA personnel in Alex Station to CTC Legal related to KSM, Al Nashiri, and Hambali. On February 27, 2004, DDO Pavitt submitted his formal response to the OIG's draft special review in the form of a memorandum to the Inspector General. Pavitt urged the CIA OIG not to shy away from the conclusion that our efforts have thwarted attacks and saved lives, and to make it clear as well that the EITs, including the Water Board, have been indispensable to our successes. Pavitt's memorandum included an attachment describing the successes of CIA's counterterrorism detention and interrogation activities and why the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques were necessary. The attachment stated information received from detained terrorists as a result of the lawful use of enhanced interrogation techniques, or EITs, has almost certainly saved countless American lives inside the United States and abroad. The evidence points clearly to the fact that without the use of such techniques, we and our allies would have suffered major terrorist attacks involving hundreds, if not thousands, of casualties. The attachment of Pavitt's memorandum repeated much of the inaccurate information contained in Deputy Chief of Alex Station Redacted's email about KSM and Abu Zubaydah, as well as the additional information Alex Station personnel provided on KSM, al-Nashri, and Hambali. In Pavitt's memorandum, every intelligence success claim was preceded with some version of the phrase, as a result of the lawful use of EITs, inaccurate information provided to the OIG during interviews, and the Pavitt memorandum was included in the final version of the OIG special review. The relevant portion of the special review, including much of the inaccurate information, has been classified or declassified. As redacted, CTC legal redacted anticipated in his February 10th, 2004 email, much of the information provided to the Inspector General on the effectiveness of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques was later provided to policymakers and the Department of Justice as evidence for the effectiveness of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques. In late 2004, as the National Security Council was considering in-game options for CIA detainees, the CIA proposed a public relations campaign that would include disclosures about the effectiveness of the CIA program. CIA talking points prepared in December 2004 for the DCI to use with National Security Council principles stated that, if done cleverly, selected disclosure of intelligence results could heighten the anxiety of terrorists if at large about the sophistication of USG methods and underscore the seriousness of American commitment to prosecute aggressively the war on terrorism. The following month, the CIA proposed that the public information campaign include details on the intelligence gained and lives saved in HVD interrogations. There was no immediate decision by the National Security Council about an endgame for CIA detainees or the proposed public information campaign. In early April of 2005, redacted Chief of Alex Station asked that information on the success of the CIA's detention and interrogation program be compiled in anticipation of interviews of CIA personnel by Tom Brokaw of NBC News. The first draft included effectiveness claims relating to the second wave plotting, the Heathrow Airport plotting, the Karachi plotting, and the identification of a second shoe bomber. The subsequent draft sought to limit the information provided to what was already in the public record and included assertions that Isa al-Hindi, Ayman Faris, and Sajid Badat. That day, Deputy Director of CTC, Philip Mudd, told Redacted that we either get out and sell or we get hammered, which is implications beyond the media. Congress reads it, cuts our authorities, or messes up our budget. The following day, the draft was cleared for release to the media. On April 20th, 2005, the same examples were circulated as part of an anticipated official public campaign to promote the effectiveness of the still declassified CIA program. In response, redacted CTC legal, redacted, expressed a concern that the examples cited, while true and perhaps as far as we can go, are not nearly the most striking examples of lives saved. Referencing KSM's reporting on Ayman Faris, redacted noted that we risk making ourselves look silly if the best we can do is the Brooklyn Bridge. Perhaps we should omit specific examples rather than damn ourselves with faint praise. Redacted, who offered the Heathrow Airport plot as an example, made the following suggestion. Can Office of Public Affairs be more strongly declarative? While we can't provide details, or maybe we can, the program has produced intelligence that has directly saved hundreds of thousands of Americans and other innocent lives. Redacted then attached claims originally compiled in February 2004 for the purpose of responding to the draft OIG special review, which he wrote described some of the actionable intelligence acquired as a result of the program and the lawful use of such techniques. The examples were inaccurate. On June 24, 2005, Dateline NBC aired a program accompanied by several online articles which quoted CIA Director Goss and Deputy Director of CTC Mudd, as well as anonymous top American intelligence officials. Among other claims, NBC reported that the capture of Ramzi bin al-Shibh led ultimately to the, did they misspell that? Led ultimately to the, shoot, I screwed that up. Sorry. Led ultimately to the captures of KSM and Khalid bin Attash. This information was inaccurate. At the end of 2005, congressional concerns about the treatment of detainees again spurred interest at the CIA for public disclosures on the effectiveness of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques, specifically congressional action on the Detainee Treatment Act, the McCain Amendment, prompted a CIA attorney working at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence to express concern that legislative support was needed for the CIA to continue to use its enhanced interrogation techniques, and that a public information campaign would be required to garner that support. The CIA attorney described the striking similarities between the public debate surrounding the McCain Amendment and the situation in Israel in 1999, in which the Israeli Supreme Court had ruled that several techniques were possibly permissible but require some form of legislative sanction, and that the Israeli government ultimately got limited legislative authority for a few specific techniques. The CIA attorney then wrote, once this became a political reality here, it became incumbent on the administration to publicly put forth some facts. If it wanted to preserve these powers, yet to date, the administration has refused to put forth any specific examples of significant intelligence it addressed as a result of using any technique that could not reasonably be construed as cruel, inhuman, or degrading. Not even any historical stuff from 3 or 4 years ago. What conclusions are to be drawn from that utter failure to offer specific justification? That no such proof exists, that the administration does not recognize the legitimacy of the political process on this issue, or that need to reserve the right to use these techniques really is not important enough to justify the compromise of even historical intelligence. As described in more detail in the full committee study, the administration sought legislative support to continue the CIA's detention and interrogation program, and chose to do so by publicly disclosing the program in 2006 speech by President Bush. The speech, which was based on CIA provided information and vetted by the CIA, included numerous inaccurate representations about the CIA program and the effectiveness of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques. The CIA's vetting of the speech is detailed in CIA validation documents, which include CIA concurrence and citations to record support specific passages of the speech. For example, the CIA validation of remarks document includes the following: questioning the detainees in this program has given us information that has saved innocent lives by helping us to stop new attacks here in the United States and across the world. CIA concurs with this assessment. Information from detainees prevented, among others, the West Coast airliner plot, a plot to blow up an apartment building in the United States, a plot to attack various targets in the United Kingdom, and plots against targets in Karachi and the Arabian Gulf. These attacks would undoubtedly have killed thousands. Multiple iterations of the CIA validation documents reflect changes to the speech as it was being prepared. 1 week before the scheduled speech, a passage in the draft speech made inaccurate claims about the role played by Abu Zubaydah in the capture of Ramzi bin al-Shibh, and the role of Abu Zubaydah and Ramzi bin al-Shibh in the capture of KSM, but did not explicitly connect the claims to the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques. In an August 31st, 2006 email exchange, CIA officers proposed the following language for the speech. That same year, information from from Zubaydah led the CIA to the trail of one of KSM's accomplices, Ramzi bin al-Shibh. Information from Zubaydah, together with information from Shibh, gave the CIA insight into al-Qaeda's 9/11 attack planning and the importance of KSM. With the knowledge that KSM was the mastermind, redacted Pakistani partners planned and mounted an operation that resulted in his eventual capture and detention. The August 31st, 2006 email exchange included citations to CIA cables to support the proposed passage. However, neither the cables nor any other records support the assertions. There's a bunch of footnotes there. Okay, within a few days, the passage in the draft speech relating to the captures of Ramzi bin al-Shibh and KSM was modified to connect the use of CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques against Abu Zubaydah to the capture of Ramzi bin al-Shibh. The updated draft now credited information from Abu Zubaydah and Ramzi bin al-Shibh with helping in the planning and execution of the operation that captured Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. The updated draft speech stated Zubaydah was questioned using these interrogation procedures, and he soon began to provide information on key al-Qaeda operatives, including information that helped us find and capture more of those responsible for the attacks on 9/11. For example, Zubaydah identified one of KSM's accomplices in the 9/11 attacks, a terrorist named Ramzi bin al-Shibh. The information Zubaydah provided helped lead to the capture of bin al-Shibh, and together, these two terrorists provided information that helped in the planning and execution of the operation that captured Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. An updated CIA validation document concurring with the proposed passage provided a modified list of CIA cables as sources to support the passage. Cable citations to Abu Zubaydah's reporting prior to the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques were removed. Like the previous version, the CIA's updated validation documents did not cite to any cables demonstrating the information from Abu Zubaydah helped lead to the capture of Ramzi bin al-Shibh. Similarly, none of the cables cited to support the passage indicated that information from Abu Zubaydah and Ramzi bin al-Shibh, who was in foreign government custody when he provided the information cited by the CIA, helped in the planning and execution of the operation that captured KSM. As described elsewhere in this summary, there are no CIA records to support these claims. The CIA documents validating the president's speech addressed other passages that were likewise unsupported by the CIA's cited cables. For example, the speech included an inaccurate claim regarding KSM that had been part of the CIA's representation on the effectiveness of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques since 2003. The speech stated, once in our custody, KSM was questioned by the CIA using these procedures, and he soon provided information that helped us stop another planned attack on the United States. During questioning, KSM told us about another al-Qaeda operative he knew was in CIA custody, a terrorist named Majid Khan. KSM revealed that Majid Khan had been told to deliver $50,000 to individuals working for a suspected terrorist leader named Himbali, the leader of al-Qaeda's Southeast Asian affiliate known as JI. CIA officers confronted Khan with this information. Khan confirmed that the money had been delivered to an operative named Zubair, and provided both a physical description and contact number for this operative. Based on that information, Zubair was captured in June of 2003, and he soon provided information that helped lead to the capture of Hambali. As support for this passage, the CIA cited a June 2003 cable describing a CIA interrogation in Majid Khan, in which Majid Khan discussed Zubair. The CIA validation document did not include cable citations from March 2003 that would have revealed that Majid Khan provided this information while in foreign government custody prior to the reporting from KSM. All right, and then so on September 6, 2006, President Bush delivered the speech based on the CIA vetted information. On September 8, 2006, the chief of the redacted department in CTC, counterterrorism, redacted, who had participated in the CIA's validation of the speech, demonstrated or distributed the final validation document for possible updates or changes. In an email, redacted urged the recipients to please look very carefully, as this is going to be a very important document. On September 11, 2006, a CIA officer responded, questioning the passage in the speech related to the capture of KSM, as well as the relevance of the CIA cables cited in the validation document to support the passage. The CIA officer questioned whether a CIA cable describing Ramzi bin al-Shib's identification of Ammar supported the claim that bin al-Shib's reporting helped lead to the capture of KSM. The officer wrote, I presume the information in the cable that supports this statement is Ramzi's admission regarding Ammar. Did that actually help lead us to KSM? Not sure who did this section, but we may want to double check this and provide cables or additional cables on how this actually assisted us. This also seems to be a point critics in the press seem to be picking on. I will do some digging on my own as well. Okay. Says there are no CIA records that indicate that the CIA's officers' comments about the inadequate sourcing were further addressed. As described in this summary and in more detail in Volume 2, there are no CIA records to support the passage in the speech related to the capture of KSM. After the speech, press accounts challenging aspects of the speech became the subject of internal discussion among some CIA officers. On September 7, 2006, the chief of the redacted department in CTC, redacted, sent an email stating, the New York Times has posted a story predictably poking holes in the president's speech, defending the passage in the speech, asserting that after the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques, Abu Zubaydah provided information that helped lead to the capture of bin al-Shib. Redacted explained, we knew Ramzi bin al-Shib was involved in 9/11 before AZ was captured. However, AZ gave us information on his recent activities that, when added into other information, helped us track him. Again, on this point, we were very careful, and the speech is accurate in what it says about bin al-Shib. All right, I'm going to stop right here, and then we'll just start back up sometime over the next few days, because, I mean, I've been going through, actually, maybe I can finish this page. Let's just do that. Then, because I'm still going through all the Epstein stuff. But anyway, redacted statement that Abu Zubaydah provided information on bin al-Shib's recent activities that helped CIA track him was not supported by the cable cited in CIA's validation document or any other CIA record. Redacted's email did not address the other representation in the president's speech that Abu Zubaydah identified Ramzi bin al-Shib. A New York Times article also challenged the representation in the speech that Abu Zubaydah disclosed that KSM was the mastermind behind the 9/11 attacks and used the alias Mukhtar, and that this was a vital piece of the puzzle that helped our intelligence community pursue KSM. As a New York Times article noted, the 9/11 Commission had pointed to a cable from August of 2001 that identified KSM as Mukhtar. In her email, redacted acknowledged the August 20 or 2001 report identifying KSM as Mukhtar and provided additional information on the drafting of the speech on 28th of August 2001. In fact, CIA's redacted database does show a report from a source stating that Muhammad Rahim's brother Zadran told him that KSM was now being called Mukhtar. Moreover, we were suspicious that KSM might have been behind 9/11 as early as 12th of September 2001, and we had some reporting indicating he was the mastermind. We explained this latter fact to the White House, although the 28th August report escaped our notice. Okay, so we finished that page. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good night if I don't see you. Bye.